Hey all, welcome to another episode of the Run Long After 60 podcast. I'm Mark Vega. Today's guest is a powerhouse of positivity and purpose and purple. This is Coach Lisa Pozzoni from TRU, the Running University. She went from saying running is stupid to completing over 120 races on UltraSignup. She coaches women mostly over 50 and gets them to discover the power of movement and their capabilities. It's amazing. She really promotes something she calls the pro-aging movement, and I am all for that. We cover ChiWalking and ChiRunning. We cover her deep roots in the Arizona trails. We cover why it's good to just get people, to encourage them to just get out there and move. She teaches people how to run. That's pretty important. And she's the kind of guest who really exemplifies what it means to not take no for an answer and never think you can't do something, or at least not try something. So she's the kind of guest that definitely doesn't let people think they're too old to start. And she definitely is someone who says, well, you're never too old to finish, so keep going. All right, that's it. We ready? I'm ready. So excited for this one. This is True Coach Lisa. You ready? It's time for Lisa Pozzoni. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, here we are on the Run Long After 60 podcast. Lisa Pozzoni, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Good. Me too. First up, right out of the gate, what is the Running University? Like, let's set the ground straight. What's the Running University? What is it?
You got it. The Running University is my company, which actually originally started out as Easy Fitness Solutions. So I started my business as a personal trainer, and I swore I would never become a runner because running is stupid. And why would anybody do that?
Why?
And then one day I was at a fitness business summit, getting CECs for being a personal trainer. And there was this running course. It was an eight-week course. And I was like, maybe I should just check this out. So long story short, I started dabbling into running and I loved it. And I decided that I was going to pivot and change my direction. So I still do personal training. So that's still a little part of what I do. But most of what I do is basically I'm a run and walk coach, and I teach people how to run and all the different things that go along with that. So technique is the major thing, but mindset, mindfulness, all the things that kind of go along what it takes to become a runner.
The name is right on the nose, obviously, the Running University, but it feels like you couldn't have just created it yesterday. It's been around for a minute, right? When did you first create it? And when you changed the name from the personal training business to this is my business, this is the Running University, when did that happen? And when you did that, did you change your business model in some way? Did you know the moment you called it the Running University, you were going to do instruction and training, and like, what did you envision the moment you changed the name?
Yeah, really good question. And funny because I feel like I should know. I know I started my company, it'll almost be 20 years, as Easy Fitness Solutions.
Okay.
And I took the ChiRunning, became certified in 2010 to teach the ChiRunning. So it's kind of about when I started running. And I want to say, actually, I think the Running University is it almost 10 years old? But no, when I decided that I wanted to really become a run coach, that's when I just decided to make the change. And I knew that personal training could still be a part of it, but it had changed my life so much as somebody who swore they would never run to become a runner that I was like, I need to share this with other people because running has such a bad reputation and I'm tired of it. And so that was basically motivation for me. Like once I learned the technique and found out how freaking fun running could be, then that's kind of when I made the decision. So it can't be 5 years ago. It's 5 or 10. I don't know. I feel like I just have a big anniversary coming up with it. So I don't know. Anyway.
I got to be mindful of that too. So the runninguniversity.com, we don't have to wait till the end of the episode. Like, When I visited there, it is a comprehensive explanation of everything that you do and have done. So I didn't mean like this is not a test. This podcast is not a test, right? So I
Sure.
didn't mean I'm trying
Right.
to put you in the spot. But when I
Yeah.
went to the website, I'm like, "Ah, this really captures everything. It really does, and I'm very impressed by that because websites are designed to be evolving and changing all the time. True, true. However, it's also when you have some foundational truths about a business or about a business model and you capture them on the website, whether you did it 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whenever, it's really impressive. Coach Lisa, that's Coach Lisa is her handle, and True Coach Lisa, TRU, the Running University. That's her Instagram handle. And
Yep.
I saw you on Instagram first, and two things happened on that day. This was just recently. I was, interested in Cocodona 250, and I was doing all the Cocodona things. And I saw a post from this person, this true coach Lisa, and she has a bunch of runners behind her. I think they're mostly women. But the most exciting thing for me was that they weren't all young people. And they were behind her, and they're behind the Cocodona banner and talking about the Flagstaff race. And this year, Cocodona had started a couple of other different shorter distance races, but all part of the Cocodona 250. I think there's a total of 5 races. Anyway, the Flagstaff was one of them, right? So but I saw you and I saw this like selfie of you and the people behind it, and it was the vibe that really got me like, oh man, I want to meet this person. So from there, I went right to the running university. I'm like, oh man. So I know I just dumped a whole bunch of information, but let pause on the Flagstaff Crest race and
Yeah.
go back to what I also learned the day I visited True the running university, ChiWalking and ChiRunning. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I never heard of such a thing. And this woman's been doing this for years, and her website clearly this is like how what? And by this point, I'm already over 60. So wait, I should have heard about this before. Anyway, so talk to us about chi walking, chi running. You just said you're a master certified
Yep.
person. So what is chi walking running, and how big of a role does it play in the way that you work with runners these days?
Yep. Yeah. So the chi running and chi walking for me, I say, is a game changer. I just did a class 2 days ago. I had a class here in Phoenix, and I just had somebody message me who just was floored by how just like she went out on it and she was able to her. I always say speed doesn't matter, right? But she got faster without even realizing it. So that is not why. But what had happened is, again, I'm a personal trainer, and I started dabbling into running, and one of my personal training clients gave me the chi running book. So as a personal trainer, I read about it and it made a lot of sense to me. All the body mechanics. There's a lot of chi parts. So chi is life force energy, that throws some people off because, most runners are type A. They're like, what's this woo woo thing? It's not woo woo. There's energy all around us. There's energy that flows through us. Gravity is energy, right? And it's a way to learn how to move your body in space as efficiently and as pain free as possible. So I always say I can't guarantee that you're not going to get hurt, right? There's a lot of things that go into, strength training, flexibility, other things that you need to do as a runner to try to stay as injury free as possible.
Yeah.
But if I can learn how to move in a way where I'm not impacting the ground as hard, and I was just fascinated because people don't think about taking a running class, right? Like you take cooking classes, golf lessons, tennis lessons, something that impacts your body so much and that has like I think it's like they say it's a 67% injury rate where you're out of commission because you get injured, and to have something that can actually prevent it. So for me it's like it's the thing that you do before you get injured, or once you get injured you're like, I need to do something differently, I'm probably not running right. Like people don't realize how much just different little nuances that you can do. Like I geek out on this stuff, so I'm at a level that's obviously, I'm a certified master instructor, which means I can train other people to become instructors. But it was a life changer for me. So I started running. It's been like a little almost 20 years. What did I say? Like 2004 or five is when I started dabbling. And I've only been injured twice. I mean, I've
Wow.
only been out of commission, and I'm an ultra runner. So it's not like I'm running 5 miles a week, right? And I'm not consistently running 40, 50-mile weeks, but I run a lot and I am never injured. So to me, the chi walking and the chi running are a game changer, especially for people aging, right? Whether you have been running and you keep getting injuries, or if you want to start out, and this is my biggest message, you're never too old. I don't care how old you are, you come to me or any other person who can help you, and I will help you learn how to run because anybody can do it. You're never too old.
That the message, you know what, here I'm just realizing as I'm listening to, watching you say the words, it's one thing if you just say, well, there's a run walk method. You run and then you walk, you run. That's one thing. But to say chi running, chi walking, there's this extra layer of what is she talking about? So it makes a lot of sense that you are being deliberate. That's what it is. You deliberately are learning about your body as it connects with the earth as you move forward. Right? That's what it
Yes.
is.
Absolutely. And this is the other thing. Again, as we age, like one of the biggest thing is about being curious about our bodies and just being curious in general, right? It's one of the things that say that helps you live longer is to learn and, always learning, always growing. It's always been one of my hashtags and what I always say. So to me, when I learned that there's actually a way to learn how to run, and yes, it's all about body mechanics. Again, there's this whole different cheap part of it, but it's all about learning, getting into good posture, how do I conserve energy? Short stride, higher cadence. There's a lot of different elements that go to it, like arm swing. Most people have no idea what to do with their arms when they run. I see the funkiest things happening. And, again, you can keep doing what you're doing. Or I also say you just don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know that you could be running much easier. Again, in the class the other day, this lady was like, I feel like I'm cheating. She's like, it feels, because running's supposed to be hard. People really
Mhm.
dig the running is hard thing. Oh, I must be really cool because I'm a runner and I'm going through the pain. No, running should be joyful. It should be something that makes you feel good. Now, sure, is there a love hate relationship with running? That type of thing. I get all of that. But in Chi running, it's about mind with body, not mind over body, right? So this whole idea of like push through the pain. No, listen to your body. What is causing it? How can you fix it? And what do you need to do to keep running so that you don't have to take time off? So to me, it's
Totally.
a no-brainer. Like it's a no-brainer for me to learn. And like one of my last videos was actually about, Galloway versus Chi running, right? This idea of the
Mhm.
walk run method versus
Right.
Chi running, right? And I'm saying they go together. I mean, I'm an ultra runner. I mean, I don't run a 5K straight without walking. I could care less about how fast I am. Now, you can be a fast chi runner. So that's one of the things I always tell people. Like you learn how to move properly, your speed can increase hands down. But that's not why I teach it. I teach it because I want people to learn how to run and then I want them to do it for the rest of their life. I don't want an injury to take somebody out because they did something in their running that they could have avoided if they would have just learned how to do it right the first time around.
I think I'm fascinated to hear you. I searched through some videos trying to figure out what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm slow and proudly so, but I'm slow only because was trained how to run, it was at a moment in 2015, though when I was much younger, I just ran. I was no you just run. I did that a lot. I got injured a long time ago. So then, but anyway, 2015, I got introduced for a reason to kind of get moving again. So I started walking and told my doctors, look, I'm going to poke my eyes out with pencils if I got to keep walking. I need to run. So I said, okay. But they were concerned at the moment about me running too much, too fast. I'm an extremist kind of guy. They didn't want me to have a heart attack or stroke out. So I learned about my heart rate and everything. Though by the time 2015 and 16, by the time I'm really starting to run a lot, that's about the time that the heart rate training methods were kind of falling out of flavor. Even though in the popular universe, 2015, 16, everyone started talking about zone two and heart rate. But about that time, from a medical standpoint and from the coaches who knew standpoint, 2015, 16, that's kind of when we're like, well, heart rate is great, but heart rate tells you what happened 30 seconds ago or 45 seconds ago. Not It doesn't help you. Like you can't look at your watch and go, oh, my heart's okay. No, you could drop in an instant, right? Anyway, so as a result, though, I associated heart rate and zone two with pace. And so, but I threw out the idea, didn't have to run a particular pace. But when you start learning running zone two, you really do have to slow down because you're getting an understanding about what is the relationship between the heart and eye. So I got that. But even after the heart got trained well and I was able to segue off of just go with the rate of perceived exertion, by the time I was in the universe of RPE, I had already trained myself with other thinking. And so, right. And so
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of that happened. Lisa, can you describe in words like what kind of form from a walking perspective or a running perspective can I do? How to introduce myself into chi walking? What's the best way to do it? And maybe it's like sign up for a class. I don't know. Tell
Yeah.
me what
Well,
can I
there's
get in?
definitely, my YouTube channel, The Running University, is a good way to get some stuff, right? Like there, I do have a playlist called Running Technique Tips, I think, and my self video analyses are a really good way to see. And I have one for chi walking as well. And if you look at those, I am critiquing my own technique and I'm saying why and why not I'm doing things. But the general idea is most people listening to this, if they're runners, they obviously know, like most people overstride, right? It's like one of the biggest things people do. And when you overstride, your foot comes out in front of you and you're not only potentially injured with that heel strike out in front of you, but you're also braking. So it's very inefficient. You're stopping and you're pulling, you're stopping and you're pulling. So what I like to say and what we like to say is that we're teaching people how to run without using their legs. What? Craziness. Your legs are there for stability, but they're not there for propulsion, right? So if you reach out, you're going to have to paw the ground and you have to pull yourself across the ground. Where we get into our form, and the idea is that you're gliding across the ground. So whether you're walking or running, and we don't really do intervals, it's all about body sensing. So I run, and when I feel like walking, I walk. You can time it if you want to go with both and combine them. But the general idea is you learn how to get into good posture. You're lifting through the crown of your head, which is very key. And I like to call it one of my favorite visuals for people that I think is the easiest way to visualize it and feel it maybe in your head is that you're a hamster, you're in a hamster wheel. So if you're in a hamster wheel and you get nice and tall, you engage your core by lifting through the crown of your head. And if you were just to start falling a little forward in a hamster wheel, the wheel would start moving. And so you're slightly leaning, as we say, from your ankles or moving from your center. And then you're picking up your feet, but your stride opens up behind you. So you're basically having a short stride, and your stride will open up as you get faster when you're running, which I always say, who cares? Because speed is not my thing. But it's basically this idea. So if this is your column, like this is your alignment, you're kind of falling forward and you're just moving your center in front of your feet. So your center of gravity is in front of your feet. The road is coming at you. You're not breaking it. Your feet are right under you. And then the road pulls your leg back behind you, opens up your stride. And all you're doing is keeping up with your forward fall. Now, with that said, we also call it a practice, which is what I love about it, right? So it's not like you take the class and you're like, I'm a chi runner and I know it's a practice. Danny Dreyer, the founder, is 75 years old. We've changed the instructor manual 3 times because he's an amazing runner and he has aha moments. He practices this stuff. So do I. Not on every run that I'm all, but I know it pretty well in my body. And I have aha moments. Like I love it when I'm like, ooh, I just got to feel in my pelvic rotation right there or whatever. So to me, it's part of my run because it's this mind body thing. It's a practice. It's a mind body practice. It's not just running, right? Where running is, very goal oriented. So you're learning about your body and your mind as you're running, which to me is awesome.
I agree. I agree. And yes, on the Running University YouTube channel, there's a lot of different videos of all different types too. You're very much relatable. I don't want to get out of bed. From I don't want to get out of bed. How do we do this? Like what I found after I discovered you, I went like, what is this? What is this? I found for myself that while I love my long runs or my weekend runs, I guess for me, my schedule, I can get to the trails, which are not right outside my door, but I can jump on my bike and get to the trails in 20 minutes. So that's great. And sometimes I run from my house to the trail. So that's a whole nother, 3 miles worth of get there and get back. Right. But during the week, when I'm training during the week, I can't get to the trails. So I found that the protocol, the chi running protocol, with respect to the alignment of things, works. I really get it. I get it when I'm on the asphalt, when I'm running on the street, because only then can I feel, even though it may not be true, I feel like if I'm on level ground, even if the street is sloping, I feel like I'm in control and I understand that I'm only going that I'm not leaning over my feet. I'm not ahead of my skis. I'm not over my skis. I'm literally like I'm about to stand up right now. Like I'm literally I get it. I get it, right? And so when I'm in the flow of that, time definitely disappears. So talk to me about that. Sorry, it took so long to the precatory statement here, but that's what I found. I'm on the street, I'm doing the thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Yep, this is what she's talking about. And then in part of me, my confirmation bias says, oh yeah, Mark, you do this. But then other part of me is like, well, okay, but I'm calling it out now. Now that you gave me a term for it, a name for it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. And when that happens, I mean, often I'm running, we run a long time, and before I know it, it's like I covered all the miles and looked a couple 2 hours later, and here I am. So it's not that I'm not mindful, but there was something about the freedom of flow that I was able to capture, not in the moment. This was all in hindsight, Lisa. In hindsight, I was like,
Okay.
holy shit, that just happened. That was great. That was, 3 miles of wow. Wherever I wasn't worried about what I was doing. I was just doing
Yeah.
it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. And it's a little hard. It's funny because, as an ultra runner, right? Like, I love it when I can later go, like, what the hell was I thinking about for 17 hours, right? On the ultra. And I will, again, 50 million things, but the technique is part of it. And I think part of that is really, it's that whole part of being present in the moment, right? Like, I actually got turned on to meditating after I became a chi runner. So, and that's a whole different podcast, but like meditating has changed my life, being mindful, all of that. So that was like a huge thing that changed my life because of the chi running. But, I think you're just in the moment, you're just in the moment. And for me, like when the time goes by, I don't realize it because, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about what are my feet doing? What are my knees doing? What are my hips doing? What are my arms doing? So like just being in that moment for me, and it just feels good. So you're just feeling good and you're just kind of moving right along. But I feel like it does, that's probably one of the things that helps me with it as well. I'm not sure if I answered the question or not.
You did. And now I can see you wearing the cap of coach. Like you are hyper aware of every moment, of every move, of every all the connective tissues and the joints and everything that you do. And the more aware that you are, obviously, then I think the better coach you would be, or when you convey this to other people, they would understand it because you are living it. You're in it. You're
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've dropped enough references now, so I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go, Coach Lisa. Opening up UltraSignup. When you're people are outside the United States, it's so funny. You can't always find, although they're UTMB scores or whatever that shows up on UltraSignup. But I have talked to people from outside the United States, and they've done so many crazy things, but just I can't see it anywhere. I'm like, wait, you did what? All I see in UltraSignup is this. And he's like, yeah, it was 130 miles. It was killer. The last 20 miles almost killed me. I'm like, wait, what? That's the story we got to tell. But here for you in Arizona and here, I can see as I pull it up, as I pull up your ultra sign up page, it's so impressive. Look at this. 29 races. Like, wait, what? It's not like you're 80 years old, for God's sake. When did you start running? How old were you? Like 20?
I was going to say it's funny. I think my first one was the Aravaipa Pass Mountain. It was a 25K.
That's
Yep,
it at the
Pass
bottom.
Mountain.
You see
It was
it?
at 2011. Yep, as 2011. That was a week or two after I came back for my very first Chi running instructor weekend. So I had gotten certified in 2010, and every 2 years, the instructors would get together, led by Catherine and Danny, who are the founders. So it was my first time meeting Catherine and Danny. I had taken the class, I've done all this stuff. I am immersed. So I do that. That's my first trail race. This is my first trail race, actually.
Oh
It
my
was a
gosh.
25K, right? So
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky that I have Aravaipa running. The one thing that doesn't come up on here, because I'm sure we're going to talk more about Aravaipa, but the one thing that does not show up on here is my affiliation with TransRockies. So we could talk about that
Okay.
after. So hold that thought for now. But
Okay.
yes, I did Javelina 100K in 2020. That was my 100th Aravaipa race.
Wait,
So
wait, wait, wait,
yes.
wait, wait, wait. I'm looking. I mean, this is what a
It's
she's like.
ridiculous.
She's not even doing it. You're not even doing it. You're not giving me some humble brag. But as I'm searching for the race, I gotta just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. I'm like, wow, look at this. Look at this thing. Okay.
So for me, for a lot of it has to do with like when people ask me how do I stay consistent, and like for me, it's also a lifestyle, right? So races are a way that I keep active. So if I'm always having something to train for, Or like I can always go out and knock out a 10K, a 15K, whatever, because that's just like normal training. The ultras are obviously a different ball game, but I mean, Aravaipa puts on amazing races, right? I mean, day races, night races. And so I've redone several. The Crown King 50K, which is like 7,000 feet of gain and a 50K all uphill. I did my seventh one this year. I don't mind repeating races because I know what to expect. And sometimes for me, it's the experience. Like the Crown King race, it's like a weekend. Then we stay up there together. A lot of people, we have breakfast together, so it's about the experience.
And Crown King Shamble, there I see it. And then Black Rock. I think also, I'm not sure, but there's so much to do in Arizona. And I
Yeah.
lived there. I lived in Arizona for a number of
Oh,
years. And so, but I
great. Where?
wasn't I was a runner before I was in the military, and I joined the military, and I was in the military in the early 80s, and I injured my knees. So right after the military is when I lived in Arizona. So I did run therapeutically in the washes in the sand, but it was
Okay.
just too much on my knees, or at least that's
Yeah,
what I told myself at the time. So I
sure.
kind of stopped running in like by 1987, 88, and I didn't pick that back up till a number of years after that. So I'm looking through here and I see when you repeat races and you're in Arizona and you're in the health and fitness universe at this point in time, this is like 2017, 18, 19, 20, during those years, is it a small running community? How did Aravaipa just start? I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that are happening in
Yeah.
16, 17, 18, 19. So talk about that a little bit. Like,
Yeah, that's
the
funny because yeah, I started trail running again. 2011 was my first trail race, and I want to say I remember I love talking to our Aravaipa people. I remember going to the group run. So they do group runs on Monday and Wednesdays now locally. I usually go to the first one on Fridays because I can only commit to so many. But I remember when I started going to those, and it probably was the 20 around that time, 12, 13, 14, where you'd show up to a group run and there were 10 people. Right? And then I'm always the last one. I'm in the slow group, however you want to call it, right? And it's still like I'm getting there to the top, and then it's like as soon as I get there, they're like, "Okay, let's go," and I'm like, "I haven't even recovered." So it was a very small, faster community for sure, and I love, and again because they're my home race company, I
right.
love to see how much they've grown, and I basically have a relationship with them in the sense that I do ladies training programs. So I train women for their events. I do other events too, but mostly their events because they have generous cutoffs. I'll be the first one. And when I don't know if you saw my reel from Flagstaff Crest, but that reel got out there big time because I literally was like, thank you, Aravaipa, for giving us the opportunity. Again, Flagstaff Crest 39, 27 hours. That is like a hiker can do that. You don't have to even be a runner, right? And you can do it. Like that is allowing people of all paces to be part of this amazing running community. And I think then you add the live stream for Cocodona and the live streams they do. I mean, I think they've just exploded. You go to a group run now on a Wednesday, I mean, there could be like 50, 70 people. I mean, it's huge. There's like a ton of people. So I love what they've done, and I think that they're really good about being in the community. And there's also races that have tighter cutoffs. Crown King is a good example. I will tell I always tell people if you need to look for races and you also have to look at cutoffs, right? Like I'm very serious about that because I also don't think, there are some races that having tighter cutoffs is just has to happen for safety reasons, whatever. I totally get it. But you look at the cutoff and go, yep, can I do it? Yep. Is it going to be a stretch? Okay, well then push yourself a little bit. Do you have plenty of time? Then do your thing, right? But don't sign up for a race if the cutoff is really, really too tight and you can't do it because that's just not good for you or the race company either.
Yeah,
Like you don't want to be put in that
exactly.
spot.
There's a whole lot to unpack there, and I think I not only did I see your post about the cutoffs, I'm pretty sure, at least I hope I did. I hope I made a comment about it because that can change someone's everything. And
Big time.
I know that I DNF'd in 2019, so this is before I turned 60. But I ran my first 50K in March of 2019, thanks to Kara Henninger and her KH races here in Griffith Park. I'm in Los Angeles, and it was muddy and it was just the most ridiculous rain-filled mud fest ever in the history of ever, and to this day remains still my favorite race ever because I felt
Wow.
like a kid sliding in the mud, and of course I had no idea of course management or any of that. A couple months later, I did run the Angeles Trail National Forest National
run. Um, and Gary Hilliard puts on that race, and Gary just passed a couple of months ago. And he'd been sick for quite some time, but it was a 50K, and I signed up for it. And on the day of the race, I upped it to 60K. They're like, oh, it's only 6 miles more. What's the big deal? No problem. But I had no idea. I just didn't. I didn't understand. I just didn't know. So I get up to the top of this aid station. I'm, 5:55 coming in hot. I'm like so excited, and everybody's somber at the aid station. I thought something terrible had happened. A guy puts his hand on my shoulder. He's like, "Mark, I'm sorry, man. You didn't make it." I'm like, "Huh? What do you mean?" He puts his other hand on my shoulder and says, "No, no, you're too slow, man. We're taking you off the course. We can't let you continue." And it was only in that moment, Lisa, that I understood what course management was. One of my friends later that day told me the term course management. You got to pay attention. There's cutoffs. Like cutoffs? That was ridiculous. What? Anyway,
Yeah.
lesson learned, but I learned it, right? And so now, then I kind of learned it because I want to be challenged for sure. I don't want to, but I'm also aware that my speed and everything else, like
You got to be
I
realistic.
don't want to be chasing cutoffs, but if you have to, you have to. Recently, I did the Leona Divide, my first 50-mile race. I'm just a baby in the ultras. No, no, I'm not here. Coach Lisa with her, it takes me minutes to scroll to the top. 29 races, but Kara Henninger's cutoffs for the 50-mile race that she puts on, it's also a 100-mile race and a couple of other distances. Because she had the permits and we had the space and we had the time, she allowed the cutoffs for the 50-mile race to be identical to those for the 100.
Wow.
And when that happened, then I knew I wasn't going to take up all that time, but I also knew that this one little pressure lever was just not going to be there. And I was so excited. I trained. I was so excited to run 50 miles. There's no way I wasn't going to finish the race. And I finished the race. It felt fantastic. But
Yay.
I know that took me 20 hours. That's a long time for 50 miles. But I was so happy to do it. And so it was only, that was April 12th. So it was only a less than a month or 2 or
Wow.
3 weeks when Cocodona happened. So when you posted that, like their
Yeah.
gratitude for the cutoffs, it really hit me hard. It really hit deep because let's face it, like really, like are the only reason you should even have cutoffs in my head is kind of like, well, how long do your permits last? And is it going to be safe? Now, there's no reason to let somebody, you don't want somebody to crawl along the surface of the earth just to finish the race. We don't want that either, right? But so yes, I did see that, and I was really happy to see that. Before we get to the Flagstaff Crest, 39,
Mhm.
you've done so many races. I see the Javelina 100 in 2023, but you
Yep.
did Black Rock Canyon, the 100K. Okay, so when you decide, did you to do a 50Ks and then decide I'll do a 50 miler, or did you jump to 100K, or how did that work for you?
Yeah. So my first 50K was Elephant Mountain, again, an Aravaipa race. I think that was 2013. I did my first road marathon, right? I did a marathon. It was the day I turned 41. And
Okay.
so I started out with a marathon. You feel like you have to get the marathon out of the way. Although now I would tell people, skip the damn road marathon, just do a 50K. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm just not a big road person. Anyway, so I started doing the 50K distance, and I really do enjoy. That's probably my favorite ultra distance, mainly because you just don't have to train as much, right? Like they're still training, but you can still kind of have a life. And then, of course, I think this is like a normal progression that people make. Like the 50K feels good. And it's like, well, I could go longer, right? So then I think I want to say, so to pivot a little bit, I did do a 50 miler, but I might have done across the years. I might have done 40 miles at across the years once. So across the years is one of the Aravaipa looped courses over New Year. So they've had this, it's usually the 28th of December till like the 3rd or 4th of January, right? You pay for time, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24, 48. Again, I mean, I've seen there was again, this is easy to get off track. A 90-year-old man, like a couple years ago, he did 100 miles at across the years. It took him the whole 5 days. I think he did like 20 miles a day. And he was going with his little cane, but did he get it done? He freaking got it done. Right. So to me, that's amazing. But I did want to go to the next step. Right. So then the next step was, and I wanted to do on trail, like across the years, it's still valid. The 40 miles was valid, but, going around a mile loop, although mentally very hard, you could drop out at any point in time. I did Antelope Canyon 50 miler, and it was a Grand Circle Trail event at the time. Now it's part of the Vacation Race Series, I think, or the Global Adventures. I don't know. It's changed companies.
Okay.
And I'm all about going out into places I've never seen before on foot, right? So it's like Antelope Canyon. Are you kidding me? It was breathtaking. Again, some of the cutoffs were tight, and that might have been the first time I finished. I think I was DFL on that one. 15-hour cutoff, 14 hours, 59 minutes, and 12 seconds or something. I literally came in the last minute. So that was kind of my, and it's like, oh my gosh, but I did it, right? And it's like, I remember I had my pacers and my friends are like, come on. I'm at the aid station eating like chocolate covered bacon. And they're like, no, you got to keep moving, so I barely made that. And I've had a couple like that. So I dabbled in, I only did, when I say only, it's because it's only 150 miler.
Hang on a second. Look at that. You weren't joking. 59:49. Look at that.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my
Yeah.
God. That
Yeah,
is so
exactly. So that
dramatic.
is in there.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, and I was 45 there, right? So I want to say, again, I started running, 2010. I'm like, how old am I now? I'm 54 right now. And honestly, I don't, of course, there's all these things that come with aging, right? I mean, it is what it is. It's just the reality of it all. But it definitely should not be something that should stop us, and I think society has made it that way that, like, so yeah, and then my birthday's February 19th, and I love celebrating my birthday. Like I said, my first marathon, I turned 41 on that day, and I wanted to do something on my birthday. Black Canyon happens to be usually around that weekend. So I was like, well, I guess we're going to try the 1K. And funny, we were just talking about this morning. My very first attempt at Black Canyon, the weather was so bad. I got to the aid station where they basically recommend, because I'm a back of the packer, they said the weather was so bad that the race company, Aravaipa, was recommending that people at that point just turn around and do the 60K instead of the 100K. So they have a 100K and a 60K option. Of course, I'm like, I trained all this time. I really want to do it. I call my good friend Elaine, who's one of my pacers, and she's like, well, do you want to do an okay 60K, or do you want to, possibly die on 100K? Because the weather was really that bad. And okay, I guess I'll turn around. So that was my first experience. And I think they had to change the course that day because the weather was so bad. They had to make it an out and back.
Wow.
But because that was my, well, I didn't do it the first time. And then I went back. I think I've done Black Canyon twice now.
Okay.
And again, I just love it because it's a beautiful course. It's a point to point. So again, to my point, I love being out on the trails. So I prefer a point to point any day because I get to see more trail, right? Like Javelina was a great experience. Like people ask me after, because my only 100K experience is Black Canyon or Javelina. Two very different races.
Right.
Point to point, loops. Javelina doesn't have it. Like the hardest thing about Javelina is the heat. Like last year, again, I had 7 ladies do their first, 6 out of my 7 do their first 100K. I had one DNF. It was the hottest Javelina, but the rest of them all finished. So wow. I had a great finish
that
rate.
Was their first 100K at Javelina. Okay.
Yep,
wow.
on the hottest Javelina on record. And the DNF had nothing to do with heat. It was an injury issue, but they all finished. And again, we don't talk about time. We don't care about time. Do I have people who are faster? I've got mid packers in my group, but for the most part, our MO is like, again, as long as I have time, and pushing yourself is okay, but I want to make sure I have plenty of time. I've been against, the cutoffs, and it's stressful, right? Antelope Canyon is a good example. And, sometimes it's like Crown King. I want to say 2 years ago at Crown King, I came in with like, I don't know, another 10 seconds on the clock. And I've actually had people ask me if I do that on purpose. And I'm like, no, I don't do it. I'm not trying to be the last person. I mean, it just so happened that way, but
right.
No, I'm not trying.
I would wear that with a badge of honor, honestly, because it's kind of cool. And in a way, in Cocodona or any other long distance, like that's really one of the few ways that if you're not the race leader, that you can get called out.
Yes. And yes, I love that Arizona celebrates that, right? Like the whole thing. And I got really lucky at Cocodona because Andre Lee, the first year of Cocodona, Andre Lee was DFL. He was, and because he's one of my friends, he didn't have a pacer or crew that year. His first Cocodona, he had never done even a 100 miler. And so he was, he was getting close to the cutoffs, and Patty Curry, who is, the mom of the Aravaipa, like she's Jamil's mom, who again know well, she was like, he needs some pacers. And I was training for TransRockies, so he needed somebody to do 17 miles. I'm like, tell me where to go. So like I
Wow.
paced him. They got another pacer, and he was the first DFL, right, for Cocodona, like
That's so
for the first
cool.
year. So yeah, I get goosebumps talking about it because we had the whole kind of like they did this year. Like this year I couldn't go. It was a long story. I couldn't make it, but I love to be at the golden hour. I think it's, again, all respect to the elite people. Huge amount of respect. Like I don't even know how they can do these races like double the amount of double half the amount of time that I do them in. No idea how that happens, but when you're out there for double the amount of time mentally and physically, that's pretty freaking hard too. So I love that. I love that the companies and the people that understand that there is, there's a place for everybody. And, you don't have to be the elite person. You just got to get out and just do it. And I just appreciate race companies that give us that, which is why I had mentioned TransRockies, because they actually have a job for me. I'm a volunteer for TransRockies. Now, TransRockies is a 6-day stage race in the Rockies. It's the last year this year, 120 miles.
What do you mean last day of this?
It's the last year they do it. They're not doing it anymore. So it's like their 18th year, I think.
Wow.
They have to, I think between permits in Colorado, it's a stage race. So talking about something new, right? So every day there's a stage. It's 6 days, 120 miles with about, I think, 20,000 feet of gain. Right.
Wow.
You get to do Hope Pass, which is amazing. Right. So you're doing this, and they have Dawn Patrol is what they call it. And basically I get to leave the back of the Packers. We start an hour before the race, and we just have that little bit of cushion for the hour because it's a 9-hour day for everybody. We get 10. So I get to leave the back of the Packers an hour early because they want to make it an inclusive paced event. And again, appreciate any race company that understands that we just want to see all the cool things too. And thank you for giving us the time.
Yes. So every day you have 10 hours every day to do it? Or
well, so on the first day, they don't have Dawn Patrol. It's a way to measure to see how people do on day one. And then every day after that, there is a Dawn Patrol.
That makes sense. That's cool. So this, you volunteered this before? Did you do Dawn Patrol before?
So the way that it happened is, so TransRockies has always been on my bucket list, right? Again, a stage race, something I've never done before. It's an incredible, it just looked cool. And then one of my friends messaged me, and she's like, they're looking for volunteers. And if you volunteer for the full 6 days, you get an entry to the next year. And I was like, sign me up. Wow. It was the first year I volunteered. We worked our freaking asses off, no doubt. Like we were, finish line. We worked all day. I mean, it was a really, but then I got my free entry, and it happened to be 2020. So I had to wait till after COVID. And then I got to run the actual race. So I did the full race, and Dawn Patrol had already been there. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Myrna Valerio. Do you know Myrna Valerio? She is she's like, a bigger runner, body positive, talks about this whole idea that, it doesn't matter what your size is. So kind of the same thing that we're talking about, more about size and age, but it doesn't matter what your size is. And she was at TransRockies and couldn't finish it. And she asked the race director if she could start an hour early. So she's the one who started Dawn Patrol. And then she was injured. The year I ran it, some other guy did it. And then I just reached out to the race director, and I'm like, do you have somebody to run Dawn Patrol next year? Because those are my people. Like, I would love to do it. And so I've had the gig ever since.
I love that. So Myrna Valerio. Okay. Now I recognize her. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So now, but 18. Okay. So sometimes people get to celebrate the idea that they were at the first race in the inaugural year. That's one thing, but it's also kind of cool to be the very last time it's ever going to happen. Right.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And they have other races. Like now you'll see me promoting their Moab. The Moab goes on sale on Wednesday, and that's a 3-day stage race in Moab. Gorgeous. And it's really, again, they have this, it's the community. They have this amazing community. Everybody stays, everybody waits for the last person to come in. And it's just, to me, a lot of it is about that experience, is how well does the race organization make everybody feel included, and how fun. I mean, we're on course doing fireball shots, because that's what we do. People are in costume. You run by them.
What's the name of the organization? It's
So it's TransRockies is the race series. It's
TransRockies.
TransRockies race series, but Moab Run the Rocks is one of their runs.
Okay. Yeah, I did see a post today when I saw an Instagram post, I think from you, like, oh, what's that?
Yep.
Okay. That's
Yep.
so cool.
Lisa 25. Lisa 25 is my code if anybody wants to
Okay.
use it. It'll
Okay.
sell out in 2 days. It sold out in 48 hours last year.
They all sell out, right? That was like Cocodona 250 2026. Are you kidding me? By the time people had crashed the servers, it was exciting. By the time my registration button worked, it was already red, sold out,
Yeah.
14
Are
minutes.
you registered? Are you doing it?
No, I was, but I was curious. I was ready to click. What I
Okay.
really wanted to do was be able to volunteer. So I've already registered for that.
Oh,
But they
good.
also made it sound like you had to register the volunteer elements on that time too. So anyway, that's
Okay.
kind of what pulled it out. But I'd never
Well,
heard of a. Go ahead.
yeah, I was
No.
gonna say I hope I don't have to wait a year to meet you, but at least I know I'll at least get to meet you then.
No. You're in Arizona all the time. So all I have to do is just sign up for any Arizona run, and clearly. And
Yeah.
I think,
Any Aravaipa race, mostly yeah.
right. I love that. I never even heard of a stage race until reading Finding Gobi. So Finding Gobi is this great story, true story, based on a true story. This is runner dude who runs this stage race in the Gobi Desert. There's this little stray dog that shows up during these stages, and he falls in love with his old dog. Dog falls in love with him, and then he gets separated. And so the story is about him finding that dog and bringing that dog back home, including getting him to the United States. And so the dog's still alive, the guy's still alive, his wife's still alive. They're all still there. This book was just, I don't know, but it's not recent. It's a number of years old.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's no probably better community, especially if it's in the United States or somewhere close by. Like, because if it's staged, you finish your day and then you all camp at the same spot, right? That's how it works.
Yes. Yeah,
And
that's
then
how
everybody then
TransRockies
get,
worked. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, like the Moab one, you actually have a hotel or you can get an Airbnb. So what I usually do is I get an Airbnb. And I was wondering how are they going to make that transition? Because a big part of TransRockies is exactly that community. You come back, you're all eating dinner together in the big tent, you go back and sleep in tents. And that's what adds difficulty to the race too, because not only are you doing all this mileage and elevation, but you're sleeping in a freaking tent side by side with people. You could have earplugs, but people snore, all the
yes, yes.
things but it is part of the whole experience. And they have a hotel package. So people that can afford that, good for them. They can do that part. But they did, like their Moab one is not camping. You actually get to go sleep in a bed and take a real shower, which is also a very nice option. And I wasn't sure how they were going to recreate that community feel. But again, it's the race director. Huda is, an incredible race director. And he's really good at just, again, getting that community and bunch of people around him, just to make it happen. So fun.
That sounds very cool. I think what a different experience it would make it if if you went to a hotel, like took a shower. It's no judgment. It's just different. Like, okay, so
Totally.
every day it would be like I can imagine every day I do a long run and I go do 20 miles today, and then I take a shower and I get up in the morning, eat again, and then go do another 20 miles and come back. Although it's longer than 20, I suppose, but still it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they have. I want to say so they have 2 short days, like 13 and 14-mile days, but those are also really hard days. So there's like Hope Pass is one of them. So you do 13
Okay.
miles, but you're going up and over Hope Pass the opposite way that Leadville does it. Leadville does it up and over where you're going, the opposite way. And again, the fact that I could say I've done Hope Pass is like amazing, right?
Yeah,
Like, and
pretty
it's hard.
amazing.
It is
Pretty amazing.
so
There's
hard.
no way we can go over all 129 miles. I
No.
mean, races. However, okay. So we talked about a stage race. We talked about 100K. Have you done a 100-mile race? I don't know.
Great question. I have done 100-miler. I did it at Across the Years again. So when I got to the point where I've done a couple of 100Ks, and again, so when Cocodona came out, which has been is this the 5th year?
Yes, this
Cocodona
is
came out, and so I'm originally from Massachusetts, right? But I've lived in Arizona. I started here my freshman year in high school, so I've lived here forever. I love
forever. Okay.
Arizona. I love this state. I love our flag. So when Cocodona came out, I was like, oh my God, you get to run across like half of the state. This is amazing. But then I was like, really 250? Again, I hadn't even done a 100-miler at that point yet. So I was like, okay, again, in the interest of baby steps, you're not going to go from wherever I was at that point. And so I signed up for Across the Years because I felt it was the safest way for me to do a 100-miler.
Okay.
Again, contained environment. It's a 1-mile loop. You've got an aid station. So I did my longest at that point was 100K. So I did 63 miles. And then I beat my distance, and then I went to sleep for 5 or 6 hours. I bought 48 hours, so I bought time. So I knew it. I knew I'd be able to get it done in 48 hours. Bought time, went and napped for 5 or 6 hours, took a shower, the whole thing, went back, and then finished up the other 40, whatever the rest of that was. Um, so yeah, I have not done one on trail yet, which Sedona Canyons now is out there. My problem is I have too many of my runners that want to keep, like, I literally have people that want to do Flagstaff Crest again next year, and I typically will not race an ultra if I also have people doing it. Like, I'm training people because I like to be at all their finish lines, and a lot of my people are faster than me, so
Yeah.
I don't want to miss their finishes.
They'd be waiting for you. I love that. That's really that's a cool policy, though. I think it is because it's it allows you to stay in your lane when you're the coach and supporter and cheerleading versus being the runner. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have a bazillion pacers when I'm ready to do one of these
right, right,
long
right.
distances, right? Because I do have, yeah,
Kudos to you for doing the across the years. Like I really studied it and I looked at a lot of people who finished it. And I gotta say, I mean, I've done a lot of road marathons, but I not a lot. I've done my share of a handful of road marathons. After the race was over, I'm like, for me, in my pace and how I run and everything that is about it, it just wrecked my body. It's like, it's why? There's too much, the body, my bones, it's not, it's fun. And so
yeah,
when I started, but so I can run like I just did, like I can be out there for 20 hours on the trails and I might have some blisters if I didn't work it right. But otherwise, I'm ready to dance a jig in a day. When I
yeah,
ran a street marathon, it's not. It's just a repetitive motion, and I'm just my body's just begging to be break, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. So when I watch people do it across the years, and I look at that course, because thank goodness there's so many,
yeah,
run tubers, right? They're all
yeah.
and you've got great videos on the running university, but I appreciate the distinction between what your YouTube content is and other people. So it's really bespoke with respect to what your message is, what you're trying to do, and how you do it. So honestly, bravo to that.
Thank you so much. And I love what I do so much. And again, this whole really, it's become the running, but now it's become a pro aging movement for me. Like, I want to start a movement. Like, I want to get, again, women, because that's my niche, is women over 50. But again, like, going back to the whole Flagstaff Crest. So 2 years ago, the first year they had Flagstaff Crest, I had one of my team, one of my True Tribe members decide she was going to do it. It was our first ultra. It was also, and again, I love to be at their finish line. So Flagstaff's a couple-hour drive for me. It was my dad's 80th birthday that day. So I could not be at her finish. So it broke my heart, but she did it. But she opened it up for and she got to actually do Eldon. Like, she did the original course where you were literally doing the last part of Cocodona. And then last year, she was the one who inspired. Last year, I had two people do it. So I trained the two people. Again, great. This year, I had 11 women, including, like I was telling you earlier, my oldest, who's 68 years old, and that was her very first ultra. That was her longest distance on road or trail, and I'm so freaking proud of her. And she walked it. Like, she may have run a couple of downhills, I'm not even sure, but she is a hiker because she's bone on bone, is not going to be getting knee surgery. Like, she's moving with the body that she has right now, and amazing. She just did 39 miles. Like, like, I get goosebumps. Like, I love that I get to turn women onto this, and I love that it's just a game changer, like, and it's just good for us, right? Like, we need to find a way to stay healthy as we get older, and to me, this is the anti-aging drug. You want a drug? Walk and run. There you go.
I'm pretty sure if I may, and I hope it shows it this way. Can we see that? There you go. So this
Yes,
is the before. Is that right? So this is the
that is
before.
correct.
This might have been the first one I saw. It might have been the first post I saw. And I'm like, wait, these are not young people. I'm like, well, what the? And then it says ones are doing a first ultra at 68. So there's something about celebrating. I really love to celebrate the fact that we show up to toe the line. That's worthy of
Yes.
celebration because it's never for me. It's never about the pace. And it's really not even about the finish for
Yep.
me, just for me as a participant. I train how I train, and I love the satisfaction of believing that I'm ready to go. I did
Yep.
it. I didn't skip any things. I'm ready to go just for me, right? Just my approach.
Yep. Yeah, out of that group of
When I
11,
saw that post, I'm like, oh, look at them. They're ready to go.
Yep. Only one of them was under 50 in that group. And again, my true tribe is mostly women over 50. I'll have women ask me, is that a requirement? It is not. I have 30-year-olds in my group. I have 40-year-olds. It's mostly women over 50. And then you add that whole element of the social aspect, right? Like that's huge for me. Like community is my jam, which is why we've been talking a lot about it inadvertently, right? I'm a Trail Sister leader. So I've got that community, but Aravaipa, my true tribe is a community of women who are over 50. And, we're going through a lot of the same life stuff too. You solve problems on these long runs, right? But empty nesting, retiring, how to deal with time, watching the grandkids, like there's all these different things that you deal with at that stage in your life. So having other women around you to support you and encourage you and give you advice, I mean, it's priceless. So I am very blessed and lucky that I have found my passion. And I just thank you also for letting me talk about it and share it
No,
because
of
you can
course.
tell I'm not shy.
Consistent with that is this, and again, remember, I'm just following, we only know what we reveal about ourselves to the world, right? In one way or another, right? So here's the follow-up post, right? So I was already invested when I saw you post and say, here we go, we're gonna do it. So look at that image, that shot on the purple and the bitch, like it really was infectious. And I think I sent the note to you about this one. Like, man, this is like, come on, give me a break here. And the idea that you celebrated just to right, all the people, 54, like, and even though it doesn't matter how they finish, whether they finish either, they all showed up. And here we all are to celebrate. It's over. We
Yep.
did it. Here's what, right? So
Yep.
good for you. And I
Yeah.
really
The
think
picture, the
it's
picture was
worthy of.
actually the morning of the start because I could never get them all together after because they all finished at different times. So I used the start line picture. That was the morning that we started. But I posted it after because that's when I had put all their stuff and they're all, yeah. But we were wearing purple. So purple, obviously, I'm wearing my purple, right? Purple's our color. I love that. I love that. Like people see purple. We're usually in purple. I mean, Jubilee, who was at the finish line calling people out, she's the Javelina race director, right? Also the Black Canyon race director for Aravaipa. She knows our group, right? So my women were coming in and she's like, another purple power, so she's calling my ladies out and we all hang out and support each other. I've had people that came in, early in the morning, like at 3 o'clock. So, but I still had some of the ladies out there cheering on their teammates. Like we're a team. It's a team. So I love it. I love that picture.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that explanation because I didn't really understand. It didn't matter. Doesn't matter. But I just
Yeah.
right in my head, there's a start and there's a celebration, and it really is. And it's good that that's your messaging and you're consistent with all of that. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that so much. Uh,
Thank you.
oh, back across the years. So I don't. I want to go back for a second. Like I don't think I can do it. Like I'm just my body. I can't. I don't know that, and I don't know that it's probably both body and mind. But the idea that I see people do across the years, and they do 100, and it's just too much. I can't 1 hour, it's a 1 mile loop, like all the things. So bravo to you and anyone who does it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree. I will definitely tell you, like I was just talking to, because we were talking earlier, I think before we started the podcast about doing different things, right? I'm always like, I always say never, because you never know. Like to me, that seemed like a stupid thing, right? So I'm like, I have to at least try it. I've done it several times. I've done a 50K at across the years, 40 miles, but it is definitely not my favorite. So I always tell people, try all the different opportunities out. I mean, with running, you can become a triathlete, a trail runner, the stage race. There's so many ultra runner, whatever. There's so like try everything until you find or dabble in all of it. But yeah, looped courses are not my favorite. I mean, Javelina is one big loop and you're on trail, so that makes that's a difference. But
How
those,
about how about you and I brainstorm right now? Here we are going to capture it, though. This isn't live. Let's capture it. I love conceptually a backyard ultra, right? With a 4.17 miles and you finish it in 24 hours, you get 100 miles. But you know what? I'm ready to tweak that. Let's give it a different name. And I don't want to have to finish it in 4 hours. I mean, 4.17 miles. And I still want to run 100 miles. And I don't want to run it on the track. Right. So, anyway, let's just give some thought to that because
yeah,
I appreciate why backyards are what they are. But I was thinking, and it's not, can't be a parking lot ultra either. And I try to brainstorm what that could be. So it's like way in the backyard ultra. It's a
yeah.
way, there's a way in the backyard. It's, something like that.
Yeah. There's also out and backs, I guess. One of my runners, Stephanie, who's in the picture, and she hadn't done an ultra in a while. She's my crew chief. So she loves crewing. She's crewed my group at Javelina. She's amazing. But she came from New Hampshire and she did, I think it's called Hamster Wheel, or I can't remember, but it's like an out and back. So like she did 100K, and I think it's 2 miles out, 2 miles back. I can't remember, but it's out and back, out and back, out and back. And I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't sound right,
Well,
versus
kind of
going
like a
around in
loop. It's a
circles.
loop, but it's one.
You're just going back and forth, which also, again, I don't know but I think having all of these options available is fantastic, right? Because that's exactly it. And it allows the back of the packers. I love timed events for people who just, have no, like, you just go on there, you can walk, you take a nap, whatever you want to do, So I always tell my runners to, you know, play around with all the stuff, and then you'll find the thing that you like the most, and, just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yes, I hear that too. I recently read a book, Alex Hutchinson, who first did Endure, and now he's got something called the Explorer's Gene. And I say the name of the title almost every episode because it's really changed my life, the Explorer's Gene. But what it did was it gave me a puzzle piece that I didn't know I was looking for. And that is, and this is getting to something that I want to really hear from you about too. And that is, as we get older, how does our why we run kind of change? And for
Mhm.
me, this book helped me understand, really evaluate so many personal and professional decisions in the decades of my life. And then when I applied that filter to running, I realized that I pick my races based on wanting to do something I have never done before. So it's not about just the distance, and it's never about going faster than before, but there's got to be doing something I haven't done before. And so that would include the across the years universe. It would include a backyard. It would include all the things. And I won't pick a race where I'll be humiliated, like it's literally impossible. No reason to do that. But we can do an awful lot of things, right? So my
Right.
why has changed because now I realize that I'm doing it for myself, but I have this sense of things, Lisa, that, I don't know how many Thanksgivings I'm going to have left, as they say, maybe 40. I don't know, maybe I'll live to well past 100. Who knows? I'm open.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything, but no matter what it is, it's a finite number. And so now I'm like, you know what? I love that I did this. That was a fun race, but nah, what do I do it for? And I decided I didn't, when I had that feeling about road racing in my second LA marathon, I knew I didn't like it, but I didn't get what was happening until recently. And this puzzle piece of a book was like, oh, that's what it was. There was no reason. I had no good reason to run the LA marathon the second time. Like, what? What am I just on autopilot? What's the point? I'm not qualified. I'm not going to make money. I'm not sponsored. I'm not, you know, one of my friends said, well, I had a friend who has got diagnosed with a thing and I wasn't going to run anymore, but now I'm doing it for them. And that's different because I can have why where I do, I run charity races, a lot of charity races because, well, I couldn't qualify fast enough to get in. But after that, I would only run if I felt like, okay, if I'm going to lend my name and try to raise money for something, it better be something that's important to me. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was an awful lot of precatory statement that was unnecessary, but thank you for letting me just share my own story with you. So that's the question. The question is, how has your why changed as you grow older? Now that clearly you've run so many races, done so many things for so many people, how has it changed at all? And if it has changed, how has it changed?
Yeah, that is such a great question. And I think I might have read that in one of your posts, or maybe you sent that to me in your email. I
I
can't
did. I
remember.
ask you to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because of course I forgot about that because of the way we ended up with this. But I'm glad that you're asking because first of all, when I train my ladies, right, week one of training is from a posture standpoint, we're talking about posture foundation. And the question is, what's your why? I always ask them before they train for a race, and they should have already thought about that before they pay for the race, obviously, but I'm always like, what is your why? Because your why is a strong motivator to get you training when you're on those days that you don't feel like training. Like having a strong why is so important. And I think it just goes back to that whole purpose and passion and, just intention. Like, what's the intentionality? So I think I love what you said earlier. I'm all about first time experiences. That's why I love to celebrate my people doing any first. It doesn't matter. First trail race, first whatever, because there's so much into, right? We only live once and we don't know. Every day is a gift, right? Anything could happen to me tomorrow. But to your point, time is limited, right? There's less time now on this end than there was, we've passed that time. And it's been really interesting to me. A lot of it for me recently, a lot of my why, even though I'm training for TransRockies and I have training to do,
Yeah.
it's really been about my mental health and my stress. I mean, I'm not stressed, so to speak, but I have aging parents. So that's, things that I'm dealing with right now in my personal life and, just some other things going on. And so for me to get out is really about just getting out and just doing something for myself that feels good. It's self-care, which is also a lot of my message for my women over 50 because they've been taken care. I don't have kids by choice, you know, so I don't have that, but they've been taking care of everybody else themselves. And so to me, I think I'm going to speak generally for people, but I think your why would change over time. And for me also, it's about proving what I can do now at this age, right? Like that's maybe a little bit of, it's maybe a little ego in there, but at the same time, it's like, you can't tell me I can't do that. I don't care. So there might be a little bit of that, but I feel because why not really at the end of the day if I can do it and it's something that drives me or excites me then I should go for it. And I think we let fear or we let other people, right, we're in a society where again everybody's like aging. I mean how you're 60, is that right? Did you say you're 60?
61 today.
61.
I mean,
Okay. And
61.
if you,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So if you meet somebody your age who's not active, right? And like they look like they're 20 years older than you, right? Like I've seen this. So when people talk about this anti-aging thing, I'm like, and I'm all about balance. I am not a freak about this stuff. I mean, I drink beer, I eat dessert. I mean, whatever. But it's about balance at the end of the day. And you need to do something that you enjoy. And I think a lot of people just don't realize how much movement can make such a big change in your life. And again, you start out with walking, maybe running's the next step, or maybe you never become a runner. That's cool. It doesn't matter. Ultimately taking the running out of it, like we should all be moving to have a to have a better second act of life, right? If
Yeah.
you're not in a good place, like if you have grandkids, you can't keep up with them. Functional stuff, lifting stuff off the ground, like like I want to be able to be as functional and I want to enjoy my life as much as possible. So I think the other why is I know that this helps keep me young at heart and mind and body. So I'm going to keep doing it. I want to be that 100-year-old crossing a finish line going, woo.
Exactly. Well, listen, Lisa, if anybody can do it, it's you. And you look at the Ultra Sign Up when I pull up people's pages. And I think what's one of my favorite things about Ultra Sign Up from a US based organization or people is that it's public. It's just publicly shared data. And the data tells a story. And your story is told with consistency. It looks like so many deliberate decisions, which is so important, right? So it's consistent. You keep
Yes.
sure. And then all the feels community oriented because you visit these communities over and again, like you are all throughout Arizona. And I really am inspired by that. It was fun to kind of peruse, that's the right word. Yeah, perusing the list of decisions that this Coach Lisa made before I get to talk to Coach Lisa. Like, let's see what those decisions are. And when you see the YouTube channel, but again, the Instagram account that just invites people to move. Come on in. Here's the vibe. The vibe is come on over. Water's warm, but we're not going to swim. We're going to move. We're going to walk. We're going to run. Whatever we're going to do, let's go. We're going to do it together. Come on. Come on, we'd love to have you. That's the vibe. So if that's what you're aiming for, you nailed it. I'll tell you that.
I know, like seriously, I can't tell you how much it means. It's like when somebody reads my website and they're like, you were talking to me. You were talking to me when I read your website. I'm like, oh my God. Well, at least I nailed the copy. Thank God for all the marketing classes that I've
Uh,
been taking and stuff, right? But all kidding aside, I'm super grateful. And I thank you for saying that because that is exactly the vibe. It's like, I want, anybody can do this. I mean, I have one of my newest ladies who came in at the end of December. She is currently at a 24-minute mile. Like that's a timed mile at track. But you know what? She comes out and she does it. And everybody has to start somewhere. So my whole tribe has embraced her. Most of our people are, she's our slowest person, right? And she's okay that I even talk about her. I'm not going to mention her name, but she is just again, she has the will. And I'm like, that's okay. You just have to start being consistent and you're going to get faster. But you need to have a group of people who are going to support you and help you versus, oh, we're all levels. I mean, how many times you go to a group run and they're like all levels and you're like, bullshit. Like, again, I'm sitting here, you're not all levels. So I want to make a space for people, for all levels of people, regardless of. And funny with the ultra sign up and the aging thing, like I literally pull up ultra sign up almost when I post my stuff, ages 36. If I get their ages wrong, like sometimes I won't, they're not, they might be 68, but I say 67 or one of the, they get mad at me. It's like, I'm 68, I'm not 67. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I will go check ultra sign up to make sure I don't screw up their age. Cause I'm like, I want to give them credit for this shit, excuse my French.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Well, this has been so much fun. You have delivered on my expectations, though that wasn't your job. I was really interested to see you and hear you and just capture you. So, thank you for coming on today and sharing some stories. We know that it's on Instagram. Your true coach Lisa. RunningUniversity.com. People can find you there. And then, of course, UltraSignup. There's two Lisa Pozzonis, but they're both you, and only one of you has one race. The rest are all of you. So this is I'm like every time I do this, like scroll, 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 scroll. I'm like 120 some races. That's a lot of races. Scroll, 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 scroll. So it's like the opposite of doom scrolling. This is like
Yeah.
you need a word for like inspire scrolling because I'm like, what the? My mouse doesn't even go fast enough for this person to let me see 129 races. What the heck? And sometimes maybe I'll admit, like as I look at my ultra run, my ultra sign up page, which just got started a little while ago, I'm like, wow, one of these days I'm going to have 10 races and probably sometime I'm going to have 20. And sometime
Yeah.
after that, one of these days I'll remember true coach Lisa and I'll remember because one of my days, Mark's going to have to scroll to see the bottom of his screen. Right. So anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. This is great. Any
Yes.
other questions or anything you want to cover? Because it's just an open conversation for everything and anything, my friend.
Yeah, no, I think you pulled myself out, which is, I really appreciate that by asking the questions. And yeah, on the ultra sign up, I was going to say something and from what you said, and I just lost the train of thought on about that many races. But again, so the funny thing is I say there's a ton of races, but I'm not racing, right? So again, I do them as events. I don't, I, a lot of them, there's ultras, but there's like 10Ks and, 15Ks. Like those are just like, oh, let me just go pay for the race because I have an aid station. I get to see my friends. I'm supporting a company that I love, that type of stuff. So,
But
but
but did you
consistency.
did you did you move over the ground, over the earth to cover the 5K that you registered for?
I sure did.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the 12K
Yes.
that you registered for, and the 25K that you registered for, and the 10K. So I don't understand the nuance and qualifications, Coach Lisa, right
I
now.
know.
You were there. Those are
You're
your
giving me
races.
a You're giving me a taste of my own medicine. So thank you for that. Because in the tribe, we don't say the words just or only when it's like, I only did a 5K or when we're qualifying something. So you just called me out on my own, on my own stuff. Well, appreciated.
You're welcome. I
Yes.
every time I see a post like that from some other Instagram person, I'm reminded of it because I have to be really, I know in the past from my family and friends, like I might be, I mean, I just don't, I try hard never to say it. Just it is what it is. Did you go on a run today? Yeah. What'd you do? 15 miles. That's it. No qualifier, no judgment, no nothing. You ask the question and give me the answer. I'm not going to try to make you feel comfortable or me feel comfortable or an blah, 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 blah. So
Yep.
I'm with you. And so if my little soliloquy just now in honor of you, Coach Lisa, if it actually felt like you, I was calling you up for your own sentiments. Well, good. Then we're connected. I'm happy with that.
I love it. And I love what you're doing as well. So I thank you for reaching out to me. And again, I think we need to find people like ourselves that we're out here kind of on the same mission, really encouraging people not to let their age hold them back from doing anything. So kudos to you. I'm excited. I'm excited to see your ultra sign up page grow. I want to
Exactly.
see
Me
some
too. Me
Arizona races
too.
in there.
Me
You come to
too.
Arizona.
Okay, I will. I will definitely let you know when I'm coming out there, and I'm going to because I signed up for Javelina for the 100K. I turned 62 in September, so I wanted to run my age in miles, right? So that's what the
Okay.
100K is. But I'm on the wait list at like wait list 186. So I found the Red Rock Canyon 100K in November outside of Vegas. So I'm signed up for that too. So, but it doesn't matter. I'll cover the earth. It's going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, for
It's going
sure.
to happen. For, you know, the impatient part of me is like, well, why do you have to wait till you're 62? Let's just go do 100K now. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Just go, just keep running, keep showing up, Mark, for yourself. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that.
That's exactly right. What you said. Just keep showing up for yourself.
That's right.
That's it right there.
All right, Lisa, absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining me today. And I
Thank you
will
so
see you
much.
out on the trail sometime. All right.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.